Let's see. Okay, our third game is a fascinating one here. Great rivalry game as USC is playing at Notre Dame in the 90th meeting. The big story this year is the coach for USC, Steve Sarkisian, taking a leave of absence. So the offensive coordinator, Clay, what's his last name? Helton. Yeah, he's going to be stepping in.
I think it was an enforced absence.
Correct.
The word I got. Pat Hayden went to his house and did it.
And the early line here, Notre Dame opened 4 now, actually up to 5.5. Not surprising with that kind of stuff swirling on, and 80% of the early money here on the Irish. If you like to look at revenge games, this certainly is for the home team. As Notre Dame has won 2 of the last 3 meetings against the Trojans, but you wouldn't know that by last year's game as USC just flogged this team 49-14. It was an Irish team that had all kinds of injury problems and even some dysfunction down the stretch, and this was one of the many games that they lost. Cody Kessler, who was just sensational last year, tore up the Irish defense, 32 of 40 passing, 372 yards, 6 touchdowns, no interceptions. Boy, do you think Frank Leahy looked at that and said, you can't do that to my Irish defense? So now they have to head on the road here. In fact, in that game, there was a celebration that the Trojans had on the field, and even the coach, Sarkisian, say, hey, our future is ridiculously bright. Well, they're not having a great start. 1-2 in Pac-12 play for this season, 3-2 overall, coming off that loss to Washington. They were 17-point favorite on that Thursday night game. Lost the game 17.
Only scored 12 points.
Yeah, with this with Kessler, who's going to be in the NFL draft in a few months, and this very talented offense.
But they have to go to the Canadian League.
They certainly didn't get it going. So, Sean, you looking at the payback rivalry or just matchups on the field?
I hate games like this where this kind of stuff. There's been problems with Sarkisian actually in the last few weeks, but I guess they hushed it up and hoped that maybe they can get it straightened up, and now it's really come to the surface with this drinking thing. And I'm surprised there's a line on the game right now. I really thought it'd be off the board to maybe Thursday or Friday. But Notre Dame, very good team, right? They're ranked number 14. And again, this line is surprisingly low. I came 4. The opening number came 4. And then it went to 5.5. There's no total. I'll be surprised if you'll see a total for a while on this. This is another Saturday game. It'll go 7:30 Eastern Standard Time. It's an NBC game, so there'll be a lot of interest. But a lot of the luster, of course, has come off of this game with the suspension of Sarkisian for Southern Cal. And they say it's indefinite, but I think he's gone. I think he's gone.
We'll be surprised.
Yeah, Southern Cal, they're 3-2 straight up and against the number. And, of course, we just talked, they just lost as home favorite of 17. That was 10 days ago to Washington, 17-12. They host undefeated Utah. I mean, this is a bad spot for them, too. They got that game coming up next week. Notre Dame has a bye. And they got no tough games until their last game of the season at Stanford. So, I mean, they could pretty much run the table here. And Notre Dame, 5-1 straight up and against the number. They've been really good against the bookie. They just defeated Navy they just defeated Navy 41-24 as a home favorite of 14.5. They covered the line late. This line should go up. And Southern Cal, what do you do with these games? You know, Jeff, we've seen stuff like this. Do they rally around this coach and play their hearts out and do what Texas did last week, or do they just go in the tank? It's hard to call this. And this is an offensive coordinator, so he's in the program. Do they show up or do they quit? Notre Dame lost big to Southern Cal last year as a 7-point road dog, 49-17. So there's not going to be any mercy here. If they get a chance, I think if Notre Dame, it doesn't matter. If Notre Dame gets a chance to just crush them by 50 points, I think they're going to do it. I can't make a case for Southern Cal, even with the rally around the coach thing. There's no doubt this is a good program. They do have a good quarterback, and like you said, hopefully he'll make it to the NFL. This thing won't kill him or anything. But for me, I got to pass. It's a coin toss. I mean, they could win this game by 10 or lose it by 40, and I really don't know. I hate these kind of games where the coach does this kind of stuff. So it's a pass for me.
Yeah, some of these stories coming out of Sarkisian when he was at Washington, you have to wonder how did Pat Hayden not know about this before he hired him?
Exactly. This isn't a recent problem.
I mean, these are some unbelievable things that we've been hearing, and it's probably going to keep going.
Yeah.
But SC had the same thing happen to them a couple years ago, not the same situation, but they fired Lane Kiffin, and Clay Helton, who's taking over now, he took over for Ed Orgeron, who went 6-2 after Kiffin left because they didn't offer Orgeron the job, so he quit. Helton coached SC in the bowl game, Las Vegas Bowl, and they blew away Fresno State. So that's one thing we can go on here. Another thing, their starting center, Max Turk, is out for the season now for SC, and so right now it's been a terrible week for them. Cody Kessler was 16 and 29 with 2 interceptions again in that game against Washington. He was sacked 5 times. The Trojans are 1 of 13 on third down conversions. So I had Washington that game. Of course, I didn't think they'd win the game, but 17 points I thought was a pretty good bargain
lot,
there. Yeah. Notre Dame, Brian Kelly's doing a great job at Notre Dame. They had all these injuries, and he just doesn't
He's plugging
phase
them in.
Yeah,
Just plug 'em in.
Against Navy, Deshaun Kaiser, it was 22 of 30, 281 yards, TD. CJ Procyse had 3 TD, 6.1 yards per carry. Notre Dame they lost 49-14, as you mentioned last year, but their defense is much better this year. So I think I would take Notre Dame in this game, no matter what the coaching situation was. Even before this all happened, I think I was going to take Notre Dame. So I'll go with the Irish.
One of the things we never talk about, but when I used to make lines for these casinos and whatnot, I always kept in mind that there are 6-point teasers. So which way do you think they're going to tease this game at a 4.5 to 5 point line? They're going to tease Notre Dame down
Absolutely.
to pick them. Yeah, I mean, I'm not. Boy, I don't understand this at all either. Boy, is Southern Cal going to win this?
You'd make
straight-
this higher then, like 8?
Well, closer to maybe, I don't know about 10, but 9.5 something that threatens them more. I mean, I don't know if anybody is going to take Southern Cal unless somebody knows something and 5.5. So I just
Well, I'll give the Trojans some backing here simply because they have a lot of talent. Their
they
defense,
do have a lot of
the
talent.
defense played great the last game despite that shocking loss to Washington, and they got best quarterback in the country, or one of the best. Certainly the NFL draft is going to have him in the top 10 in a few months. And
If he doesn't get killed in this game,
he won't get killed. He's got talent too to work with, and if it's going to be a bounce back game, that's possible. But Notre Dame, USC certainly has the talent to do it, and which they did a year ago. I like the Notre Dame defense too, which you mentioned. 10 starters back, they're playing great. But let's remember the Notre Dame offense lost their starting quarterback for the year, so they're on their backup now, even though he's pretty good, this kid Kaiser. 8 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. And then Notre Dame in a bounce-back spot has been sensational, 26-9-1 against the spread after a loss. But the bigger play for me would be on a defensive battle. Both defenses are very talented. USC offense, they weren't in gear against Washington, a very good defensive team last week. 1 of 13 on third down, just 12 points, and that was at home. Thing is, they do play good defense after a defeat, 8-3-1 under the total. And when they come off of a spread loss, USC is 35-16-2 under the total. Meanwhile, Notre Dame, when they face a team with a winning record, the defense, for whatever reason, plays great, 34-17-1 under the total. That's how I will look at this game. All right, let's tell you what we have going on for the weekend. We'll start with Jeff. You're on an 18-8-3 NFL run on Saturday in college football. You had your college dog of the year, and that was Oklahoma State. Didn't even need the points. You have a big one coming up this weekend as well.
Yeah, this week we're going to have another game of the year for you, and you're going to get plus that you're going to get the rest of October, college and NFL, and also baseball, of course. The rest of October for only $19. Just call the number on your screen, ask for LVSS, get the rest of October, college, football, NFL, and baseball.
All right, and Jim Feist hit his Big Ten game of the year Saturday on Wisconsin. They were actually a dog opening up all of last week and then closed a 2-point favorite. By the time of the game started, they won that game by 2 points. Jim, that's part of a 37-25 college football run, as well as a 22-14 NFL run. If you want to get Jim's play, just call the number on your screen. And if you want to get free plays on a recorded message, just go to jimwins.com.
I always had games like that where both teams have been favored, during the week, and just breaks your head open.
Yeah, like the Colts Texans too. The previous
Well,
week,
that
which was
yeah,
all
but,
over the map.
But you knew what the reason was for that. So.
Yeah. All right. Good luck with the games, everyone, and we will see you next week with another edition of the college football version of Pro Line.